Welcome everyone. I'm John Thompson and I'm the chair of the Department of Psychiatry at Tulane. Today our graduation ceremonies include both psychiatrists and psychologists, as well as infant mental health trainees and various components of combined programs and fellowship programs. I'm not able to be here in person as I'm off at a wedding for my daughter, and I will hand over the Master of Ceremonies to Pat O'Neill. I just want to thank everyone for coming and for being a part of this video Zoom. There will be a copy of the video Zoom available for everyone after it's complete. But it is a live format where Dr. O'Neill will give his presentation, and then other individuals will introduce graduates. And we have videos of all the graduates coming up to thank everyone and to congratulate other graduates as well. As in last year, there have been two major issues that we've been dealing with all year. Number one is the COVID crisis, and I want to thank all the trainees for their participation in supporting individuals in the COVID crisis and providing crisis counseling for those individuals, as well as being actively involved in equity and diversity issues within our department. We all know that Tulane for a long time has not been as active in equity and diversity, but we're rapidly catching up with the leadership of the president and with the enthusiasm of our trainees. This year we were able to recruit an extremely diverse class of trainees who will go on to mentor other trainees and hopefully stay on at Tulane and be a part of the change in our overall culture to be more inclusive of individuals of all backgrounds. So finally, I just want to thank everyone for participating. Make sure that you celebrate and have a great time, but do that with care and safely. And I want to give all the graduates a big hug from Zoom Space, and know that you can call anytime and ask us complex questions for which we may have complex answers or sometimes no answers. But we're here for you when you go out into the real world and treat mental illness. This is an awesome field that we're in, and we make just major changes in people's lives. So never forget that, or be demoralized by the fact that folks don't change quite as fast as you want them to. Keep up the good work in your endeavors, and when you go out into the community, call back anytime. Peace, love, and tranquility.
Hi, everyone. This is the night of a couple celebrations. Dr. Thompson's up in Montana marrying off his oldest daughter, which is a celebration. And we're all here to celebrate the graduates of the Department of Psychiatry and Behavioral Sciences. Big class this year, 27. I've been in the department since 1982, and I think this is the largest graduating class that I remember. And it's a very interesting group with a lot of very successful people who will have, we hope, a very successful career going forward. For a lot of them, it's going to be their last graduation, so enjoy. It is weird doing it this way. I had to relearn to tie a tie tonight. First tie I've tied in over a year and a half. I tried to do it left-handed, no way. Anyway, starting tonight, I'm gonna throw it to the training directors of psychology, addiction medicine program, the child psychiatry group, and then the adult group, and it'll come back to me at times to introduce people. So I'll see you a couple times tonight, and let's have fun. The first for the presenters is going to be Dr. Davy Moran Murphy, who is the Director of Education for the psychology section. So Debbie.
Thank you, Dr. O'Neill. Graduates, you made it. Good evening to you and your families, other trainees, staff, faculty, and alumni watching tonight. It is my pleasure to recognize the interns and postdoctoral fellows in clinical psychology who are graduating. As we all know, this year has been unique, with many clinical services and training activities taking place remotely. And I have been so impressed with the flexibility and commitment of the psychology trainees, as well as with the faculty and staff who contribute to our excellent training program. Many of us have spent the majority of our work days on Zoom, finding ways to build relationships and engage with one another and our patients, from infants less than a year old to older adults, all from a distance. Tonight, I'll first recognize our 4 psychology interns, followed by 7 postdoctoral fellows. Our first graduate in clinical psychology is Jill Boutte. Jill is completing her internship on the child track with a concentration in infant mental health. Her placements are at the Tulane Parenting Education Program and at Metropolitan Human Services District. Jill, a local New Orleanian, brings a natural compassion and authenticity to her work with children and families. She's reliable, insightful, and resilient, traits which she modeled for her clients and their parents, which helped them strengthen relationships. She was very generous this year in sharing resources that she has used, especially around providing telehealth, mask fashion, and all things Disney. New Orleans is fortunate that Jill will be staying local to complete her postdoctoral fellowship within a private practice. Now let's hear from Jill.
I'd like to thank Tulane for such an amazing internship year, especially during such a different kind of year. I've always appreciated that everyone has been so warm and supportive. I'd like to thank my supervisors, Dr. Angie Bridenstine, Dr. Valerie Wade-Johnston, and Dr. Julie LaRue, as well as my amazing mentor, Dr. Angela Keys. I'd also like to thank my family, friends, and co-interns for always being there, and a special shout out to Dr. Linnell Goodman for being supportive since day one. I have learned so much from everybody that I will definitely take with me throughout my career. As bittersweet as it is to be leaving Tulane, I am happy to be joining CBT NOLA as their psychologist specializing in infant mental health, early childhood, and trauma. Again, thank you so much, Tulane.
Next is Jessica Garrard. Jessica is completing her internship on the child track with a concentration in pediatric psychology. Her clinical placements are at Metropolitan, Child and Adolescent Clinic at Murphy, and the Tulane Center for Autism and Related Disorders. Jessica demonstrated perseverance and resilience over the year and was eager to gain new training experiences. She was able to help her clients move forward in their goals. Jessica will be completing a postdoctoral fellowship in Florida, focusing on providing clinical care and outreach to children and adolescents with a range of neuropsychiatric disorders. Congratulations, Jessica. Now let's hear from her.
Hi, everyone. I would like to thank my supervisors, Dr. Settles and Dr. Wada Johnston, the faculty in the Department of Psychology and Psychiatry. Thank you all for making my internship at Tulane an incredible experience.
Next is Jennifer Harmon. Jennifer's internship is focused on adult forensic psychology. She's working at Elm State Hospital in Jackson, Louisiana, and at the Forensic Aftercare Clinic in New Orleans. Jennifer is a very astute and forensically minded clinician. She's extremely pleasant, has a very positive attitude, and is a joy to work with. Following internship, Jennifer will complete a postdoctoral fellowship with a private practice in Houston. And let's hear from Jennifer.
So first of all, I'd like to thank all of my family and friends for all of your love and support over the years. I'd also like to thank my cohort members for all of your support as well as my supervisors at my doctoral program at Sam Houston State University and here at Tulane for all of your supervision and your guidance and your training over the years. I really couldn't have done it without you. And after graduation, I'm completing a postdoctoral fellowship at a private practice in the Houston area.
Sharday Pettis is our final psychology intern graduating tonight. Her training has been focused on infant mental health with placements at Tulane Parenting Education Program and at Metropolitan. Sharday is a smart, competent, empathic, and sensitive clinician who meets patients where they're at and facilitates positive change in their functioning. She is a collaborative, responsive team member who's a pleasure to work with. She has been nominated for and has won many awards as a graduate student. While an internship, she also served on the Child Section DEI Strategic Planning Subcommittee focused on recruiting and retaining trainees, staff, and faculty of color. We are very fortunate that Sharday will be staying on at Tulane for a postdoctoral fellowship, continuing her training in infant mental health, and I look forward to working more closely with her. Now let's hear from Sharday.
Thank you to my co-interns, my supervisors, Julie and Valerie, and my mentor, Angela, for all of your support and guidance throughout internship year. It was a unique year that we had, but it was made easier, more manageable, and more exciting thanks to you all being by my side. I'm excited to stick around at Tulane for at least another year as I complete a postdoctoral fellowship in infant mental health. Congratulations to all the graduates.
Congratulations to all of our outstanding interns. Now I'd like to recognize our first-year postdoctoral fellows. First is Dr. Molly Michelle Cabledew. Dr. Cabledew is completing a postdoctoral fellowship in forensic psychology at the Elm State Hospital. Dr. Cabledew exceeded our expectations for a forensic fellow as she brought with her a wealth of experience in an inpatient forensic setting and is a highly skilled report writer. Her academic and research interests and experience led her to complete a book chapter on trauma, and we look forward to seeing where her interests lead. Now let's hear from Dr. Cabledew.
I'd like to thank the Psychology and Psychiatry Department at Tulane for all of the learning opportunities that I've had this year. In particular, I'd like to thank Dr. Meir, my primary supervisor, for her mentorship and support. And I would also like to thank Dr. Shannon Sanders, a colleague at ELMS, who I really enjoyed working with. Next year, I will be working as a clinical psychologist at the Austin State Hospital, and I'm looking forward to being closer to family.
Next is Dr. Linnell Goodman. Dr. Goodman is completing a fellowship in infant mental health at Tulane Parenting Education Program, and I've had the great pleasure to work closely with her. She is a warm, compassionate, thoughtful, and responsive clinician whose clients make significant gains with her therapeutic support. Dr. Goodman is also an excellent trainer and supervisor, as well as a budding researcher, and she has participated in many of the department's DEI activities with passion and commitment. Dr. Goodman is sure to make great contributions to the field of infant mental health in her future endeavors. Now let's hear from Dr. Goodman.
Hi, I'd like to thank everyone at Tulane for a wonderful year training here. I'd specifically like to thank my primary supervisor, Dr. Davey Murphy, my research supervisors, Dr. Charlie Zena and Amy Mikołajewski. I would also like to thank Dr. Julie LaRue and Dr. Angie Bridenstine, as well as the entire TPEP team for a wonderful year. Finally, I'd like to thank my friends, my family, and specifically my mom for their support. Thank you.
Next is Dr. Hannah Samaha. Dr. Samaha is completing a fellowship in infant and early childhood consultation with the TICES program. Dr. Samaha is exceptionally competent and she easily develops strong relationships with consultees, therapy clients, and colleagues. We will miss her dearly. Congratulations, Dr. Samaha. Let's hear from her.
Hi everyone, my name is Hannah Samaha from the TICES program. I wanted to say a huge thank you to Angela and Allison for creating such an amazing program for our state and allowing me the opportunity to learn throughout the past year from both of you. Thank you to Melissa Middleton. You have been such an amazing clinical supervisor and I've really learned so much. Thank you to Davey for supporting me, and thank you to all faculty members who have in some way contributed to my growth this past year.
And finally, I would like to recognize our second-year postdoctoral fellows. First is Dr. Corey Black. Dr. Black is completing his postdoctoral fellowship with the Center for Resilience. Dr. Black elevated service for elementary students at CFR for 2 years and is well known for his super high fives, fun socks, and bright smile. He has worked tirelessly to offer children a joyful and healing experience and is an excellent source of support for his colleagues. Congratulations, Dr. Black. Next is Dr. Kara Dingus. We are extremely fortunate to have had Dr. Dingus with us for the past 3 years. First as an intern and now as a postdoctoral fellow with the Tulane Center for Autism and Related Disorders. Dr. Dingus is engaged, enthusiastic, and committed to working with children with developmental and medical needs. She's a collaborative team member and she forms strong working relationships. Dr. Dingus has actively contributed to departmental activities, including DEI action groups and serving on the Child Grand Rounds Committee. Now let's hear from Dr. Dingus.
Adele and I just want to thank a few people who've helped us at our time at Tulane. First and foremost, we want to thank Valerie. Val, thank you so much for herding these two little kittens after grad school, tortured them so much. We really appreciate and we love you. And lastly, we want to thank Elizabeth, Catherine, and our fearless leader, Lisa. Thank you at T-Card for just being awesome human beings and really teaching us and allowing us the chance to learn from you and provide us with some awesome experiences along the way. I will forever be in your debt and I will forever love you, as will Adele.
Next is Dr. Jamil M. Gillum. Dr. Gillum is completing her fellowship at the Center for Resilience. She has been an outstanding clinician, supervisee, and human being during her training and service at CFR. She has been honored by her colleagues for exemplifying the mission, spirit, and values of CFR. Of her many contributions, she is most recognized for consistently pushing the organization to offer youth the highest quality of care possible and stewarding the largest cohort of 8th grade graduates into traditional high schools with style. Dr. Gillum also has been an active member of the Child Section DEI Strategic Planning Steering Committee, and she will be greatly missed. Now let's hear from Dr. Gillum.
Hi everyone, it's Dr. Jamil M. Gillum. I want to send a huge thank you first and foremost to God, my family, my friends, just for the support over these last 2 years and throughout my educational career. Thank you to faculty and staff, whether that's teaching or didactic, providing insight on steps to become a psychologist and what it means to be a psychologist afterwards, whether it's taking a moment just to talk and just talking about all things New Orleans. Thank you so much. Thank you to the training committee. Thank you to Carly. Thank you to those I worked directly with at the Center for Resilience, with Dr. Stevens, Dr. Kunkun, Dr. Pearson, Dr. Black, Dr. Marquez, all the psychiatry residents that we work with. Thank you so much for your partnership and our experiences there. In terms of what's next, it's still unknown to me what is next, so stay tuned. And to all of our graduates, congratulations, we did it.
Our final graduate in psychology is Dr. Kasia Plessy. Dr. Plessy is completing a 2-year fellowship in infant and early childhood consultation with the TIKES program. Dr. Plessy embodies the work of infant and early childhood mental health consultation through her flexibility, self-reflection, clinical knowledge, and willingness to pitch in and do whatever's needed. Her contribution to the TIKES mental health consultation team has grown over her 2 years with them, and she has become an indispensable team member. She has also served on the Child Section DEI Strategic Planning Subcommittee focused on education and training. It has been a pleasure to have her in our program. Congratulations, Dr. Plessy. Now let's hear from her.
Hi everyone, I wanted to say thank you to everyone who has supported me over the past 2 years while at Tulane. Thank you to my TIKE supervisors, Allison and Angela, and to Julie and Davey for their guidance, navigating such a crazy time to be a trainee. I'd also like to send all of my best wishes to my graduating colleagues as we take this next step in our careers. Thanks for everything and wishing you all well.
Once again, best wishes to all the graduates tonight and virtual hugs to you all. And next, we will present the video for Educator of the Year in Psychology.
On behalf of the psychology trainees, we want to congratulate Dr. Melissa Middleton, our Educator of the Year. Melissa is a great lecturer. Trainees who have completed the Multiculturalism Didactic Series can truly say they've benefited from Dr. Melissa Middleton's teaching. They leave more self-reflective and empowered to develop cultural humility and approach their work with a multicultural lens.
Dr. Middleton has also shown dedication to take on DEI leadership roles. As a supervisor, Dr. Middleton is compassionate and extremely knowledgeable. She has a warm style that makes her supervisees feel confident. Finally, Dr. Middleton is personable and supportive of trainees. She is not only a great clinical resource, but she has a wealth of knowledge and is open to sharing her love of books, dogs, plants, and vegan dishes. She also goes out of her way to individually praise and check in on trainees. We are so grateful to have Dr. Middleton as our educator.
Thank you and congratulations, Melissa.
Thank you. That was really well done, ladies. I'm very happy to announce or introduce Dr. Ken Roy, who I've known for 20 plus years, who just recently joined the department a 3 years ago, and in that time has developed our addiction medicine program, which is, at this point, has 3 fellows, and I think they're planning on maybe even expanding to 4 next year. I'll let Ken introduce them, but why don't we go to Ken and he can talk about his graduates.
Thank you, Pat. I feel a lot of honor and have a lot of admiration for the graduates that we have. This has been a difficult year. Our program has gone from 1 fellow to 3 fellows, tripling the experiences, the multiple sites. We've had credentialing at each site, which has been challenging. And all of this has happened in the context of COVID, which has altered everything. I am very, very pleased with the progress that our fellows have made in understanding addiction and being helpful and therapeutic clinicians in treating people that have addiction. I would like to initially introduce Dr. Akeem A. Adebayo. Dr. Adebayo finished his MD degree at the College of Medicine of the University of Lagos in Nigeria. He completed an internship at Lagos University Teaching Hospital. Then he came to the United States and achieved 3 different master's programs. At the University of Tennessee, he got an MBA. At Emory, he achieved an MPH. And at the University of Mississippi, he completed a Master of Science degree in clinical investigation, as well as a residency in preventive medicine. Let's hear from Dr. Adebayo.
I'd like to use this opportunity to thank, first of all, my program director, Dr. Roy. You've been an amazing source of inspiration to me, as well as the remaining faculty. I also like to thank my wife, as well as the rest of my family members. It's been an amazing journey learning how to provide care to individuals with substance use disorders. I will be rounding up my training in June. Happy about that, and I'll be heading over to Mississippi to work as an addiction specialist. Thanks again, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Adebayo. Next, I would like to introduce Dr. Kate Dupuy. Dr. Dupuy completed her MD at Drexel University College of Medicine in Philadelphia, an internship transitional year at West Penn Allegheny Health System in Pittsburgh. She has had residency experiences in anesthesiology at the University of Maryland Medical Center in Baltimore and in psychiatry at the University of Washington Medical Center in Seattle. She completed a Master's of Public Health, Epidemiology, and residency in preventive medicine at the University of Texas Health Science Center at Houston in Austin, Texas. Dr. Dupuy is very accomplished in patient care and is well-versed in establishing patient rapport, and she has become quite adept and well-known for her skills in motivational interviewing. And finally, I'd like to introduce Dr. Bryant George. Dr. George completed his MD at the Louisiana State University School of Medicine in Shreveport. He did a rotating general surgery residency at the old Charity Hospital in New Orleans, and then completed a residency in neurological surgery at Tulane Medical School affiliated hospitals. He was the chief resident in neurosurgery at the VA and also the chief resident in neurosurgery at Charity Hospital in New Orleans. Let's hear, if we can, from Dr. George.
I would like to thank everyone for this opportunity that I've had to train in addiction medicine. It's been a wonderful experience, and I want to begin by saying thank you to Dr. Thompson for starting this program with Dr. Roy. Thank you to Dr. Roy for his tireless commitment to the treatment of addiction in this community and providing plenty of trained doctors to manage people with addiction disorders in this city. I'd also like to thank Dr. Singletary and Dr. Prasad, both of which I've learned quite a bit from. Dr. Singletary with his attention to detail and Dr. Prasad with her empathy and compassion for the patients that she encounters. I'd also like to thank the support staff, Ms. Geis and Mr. Bible, for their help and assistance throughout this 12 months.
Okay, I'm having some problems here.
I can.
Let's see, am I still on? Anyway, I think, Pat, it's Dr. O'Neill, it's time to move on to the next section.
Yeah, and a little glitch. Charlie Zena's next, and he will introduce his fellows, his trainees, and also introduce Mio Mint, who's the training director in child psychiatry. So when we have him, Charlie, or do you need me to? Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Delighted that you can be with us tonight on this very special evening. I'm Charlie Zena. I'm the Vice Chair for Child and Adolescent Psychiatry at Tulane. And it's my pleasure this evening to honor three truly outstanding physicians. These are physicians who completed a fellowship in infant mental health, infant psychiatry. I have had on and off over the years infant psychiatry fellows for more than 30 years now, but I've never had more than one in a year, and this year we've had three. So I want to begin by saying that I could not have done that without the help of my colleague, Juliana Finelli, who has spent an enormous amount of energy, effort, and skill in helping with this training program. In addition to the clinical work that I will describe in a minute, this group plus Linnell Goodman from psychology met in a seminar on Friday mornings for 3 hours all year long. And I have to say, it was one of the highlights of my week, sitting around with super smart people, talking about issues in depth. It was academic music for my soul that really helped get through a very difficult year. So I really appreciate that. We had a blast. So the first graduate is Fei Chen. Fei is well known to us because after completing her general psychiatry residency at the University of Florida, she completed her fellowship in child and adolescent psychiatry at Tulane. And this year has completed or is about to complete her fellowship in infant psychiatry. She spent most of her clinical time in the Tulane Center for Autism and Related Disorders, focusing on early identification with children with signs of autism and related disorders. Fei is a quiet person who doesn't always say the most, but what she says is always worth listening to. She just exudes competence and has been a real pleasure and made major contributions to our program. I'm delighted to say that she will be joining the faculty in child psychiatry at Tulane and continuing her work at TCARD and in community psychiatry. I should say that these graduates last year, many of you remember, had such outstanding videos that we actually couldn't allow them to do videos this year because their videos last year were selected by the Cannes Film Festival. And so we couldn't have it. So they don't have videos this year, I'm sorry to say. Our next graduate is Brittany Fowler. Brittany is also well known because after completing her residency in general psychiatry at Morehouse University School of Medicine in Atlanta, she came to Tulane and completed her child and adolescent fellowship in psychiatry. She spent a good deal of her clinical effort this year working on developing a program in the neonatal intensive care unit to provide support for families of very fragile babies, and is going to be continuing that work next year. Brittany has taken Children's Hospital by a storm. She's an outstanding clinician and a wonderful teacher, and she has come to be, in a very short time, quite treasured by the entire group at Children's Hospital, Tulane trainees, LSU trainees, everyone who she's worked with. So we're very happy that she will be continuing to work with us in the coming year. And the final graduate is Liz Phillips. Liz Phillips is also well known to us because Liz completed a 5-year training program, integrated training program called the Triple Board Program in Pediatrics, General Psychiatry, and Child Psychiatry at Tulane. This year, in her infant fellowship, she has been a kind of utility infielder for us. That is doing work in an outpatient mental health clinic, in a community mental health center, conducting consultation to primary care physicians about young children with behavioral and emotional problems. And I'm also pleased to say that Liz will be continuing to work at Tulane next year. So an outstanding group of physicians who've really been a pleasure to work with, and we're very delighted that they will all be with us in the coming year. So I'm going to turn it over to Mio Mint, who is our program director or training director in child and adolescent psychiatry and for the Triple Board program at Tulane. Mio really needs no introduction for most of the people on this call. He's a true treasure for the entire department and for the School of Medicine and for the university. He is recognized for his incredible devotion to training, and he has really held together a lot of the pain and anxiety that all of us experienced in the previous year. And I'm just so appreciative of his efforts on our behalf. So Mio.
Thank you, Charlie. Now I'm all choked up. But this is about our trainee, so I'm going to start. So at the first up, we are going to congratulate and honor our Child and Adolescent Psychiatry Fellowship. And we'll start with Nithya. Before we start, though, I want to actually let folks know that the Child and Adolescent Psychiatry Fellowship is a 2-year fellowship after the general psychiatry training. And they do amazing work learning all the developmental trajectories of the young children's. As you have heard, we have an amazing faculty in infant mental health. And so they get to learn a lot about the early child experiences as well, all the way through the adolescents and young adults. And I have heard the quote of, if you're open to it, New Orleans will teach you about yourself. That just remind me a lot of the discussion that I had opportunity to had with Nithya Ravindra, our graduate. So Dr. Ravindra had her training started in University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, undergraduate degree, and completed the medical school at the Michigan State University College of Osteopathic Medicines. We're also a fan of the DO graduate as well. She came to New Orleans and did her general residency training right here at Tulane, and served as a chief resident before starting her fellowship in a child and adolescent psychiatry. It is a bittersweet but we are excited to actually see her blossom and grow, joining faculty at the Charles Drew University in California. Let's hear from Dr. Ravindra.
I'm very proud of this accomplishment, and I'm grateful for everyone at the Tulane family who've made it possible for me to get to this point. My mentors and supervisors, especially Denise Shervington, Ashley Weiss, Charlie Zena, Neo Twin Mint, Gail Pletch, Lauren Teverbaugh, Sarah Henshaw Fusilier, Juliana Finelli, Anna Kelly, and Thomas Hallinan. My friends and colleagues for their constant inspiration and support, Liz Pang, Rachel Hammer, Mandeep Gill, Liz Phillips, Yazi Hammett, Brittany Fowler, Faye Chen, and Erin Dixon Prince. The clinical and administrative staff for their support and assistance, Latanya Geis, Patrice Taylor, Lindsay Connors, and the whole EPIC team. All of the patients I've learned with and learned from, and my parents. Ama, Acha, Thank you.
Congratulations, Nithya. Now we're going to move on to our Triple Board programs. As Dr. Zena have mentioned it earlier, it is our integrated combined program of general pediatric and general adult psychiatry, and the child and adolescent psychiatry is a 5-year integrated combined program, only one of 9 in the country. And our graduates, thinking about a quote to actually talk about them, and just reminded me of how much both of them actually enjoy Golden Girls. So as Sophia from Golden Girl would say, people waste their time pondering whether a glass is half empty or half full. Me, I just drink water, whatever's in the glass. And these two definitely has drank whatever in the glass, throw it their way through the pandemic, through a multiple clinical sites that they have rotated through and learned from. So let's start with Dr. Carla Black. Dr. Black attended Butler University and get her medical degree from Indiana University before joining Tulane. We were so super excited to have her join us, and over the 5-year, seen her grow incredibly, and we are excited to actually find out her next adventures that are gonna come. Let's hear it from Dr. Black.
Thank you so much to my husband, Han, my sister, Sarah, my mom and dad, my fellow Triple Board residents, and all the Tulane faculty. You all inspire me in so many ways. I am so excited to take all that I've learned to advocate for and care for children and their families, most likely in the outpatient setting. I will be in New Orleans for another year while my husband finishes up his pulmonary and critical care fellowship. Then we plan to hopefully make it back to our home in beautiful Indiana. Thank you.
Congratulations, Dr. Black. Next up is Dr. Roger Jawad Kiani. He goes by Jawad. He graduated from Aga Khan University, where they have integrated the undergraduate and medical educations, and then joined our Tulane Triple Board program. It's also amazing to actually see the two of them grow together and all the amazing thing that he has accomplished over the 5 years with us. He will be joining a faculty at Texas Tech University. Let's hear from Dr. Kiani.
Hey, this is Jawad from the Triple Board program. I'm going to do this at Oscar speed. Thank you, Doctors John Carlson, Matt Kane, Jake Kripe, Megan Howell, for teaching me the basics and the nuances of pediatric care. Thank you, Doctors Robert DeTrenis, Gail Pletch, Danielle Levy, Mordecai Potash, for reigniting in me the passion for mental health. Thank you, Doctors Sarah Henshaw, Erin Armley, Lisa Suttles, for helping me understand the importance of cross-training. Thank you, Doctors Ashley Weiss, Laurie Saunier, Charlie Zena, for helping remind me why I came to this program in the first place. Latanya, Cheryl, Lindsay, Patrice, thank you so much for putting up with me all these years. My co-residents, I love you and I adore you. I've learned so much from you. Thank you for everything. Most of all, thank you, Mary Margaret and Neo, for giving me the opportunity to train at a prestigious institution like this and for having faith in me. and hopefully I can give back to the community as I move to Texas now. I really, really appreciate this opportunity and honor. Thanks.
All right, graduate, congratulations. Make sure you show off your feathers with humility wherever you go. We hope that Tulane added a few to yours. And we'll have to wear sunglasses as each of you will shine very bright in our field. Now, they have actually put together and selected the Educator of the Year in Child Adolescent Psychiatry. And it's a surprise to us. And so let's hear from them.
Fowler. Hi, Dr. Sonier. I'm sorry I don't have a great voice, but even if I don't, I want to still give you guys a loud shout out. Thank you so much for being amazing teachers. I really appreciate learning from each of you. You guys are both a great inspiration for me, and I hope that, going forward, I can be a lot more like you and continue to give back. So thank you so much for being awesome role models.
Hey, Dr. Fowler and Dr. Sonier, congratulations on the award of being Educator of the Year for Child Psychiatry. I've had really good feedback from this year with all the fellows and residents who have rotated with you. Thank you also for teaching us during didactics. It's been really good to learn from you, and we've all gained a lot from your expertise and insights. So thank you.
Congratulations, Dr. Sonier and Dr. Fowler. Y'all definitely deserve Educator of the Year. It's been a fantastic year working with y'all on consults and inpatient. I've really learned a lot. Y'all are not only fantastic educators, but fantastic clinicians, and it's really great to work under somebody that you really admire and learn a lot from. So congratulations.
Hi, Dr. Fowler, and hi, Dr. Sonier, and congratulations to you both for winning Educator of the Year. Dr. Sonier, I only had the pleasure of working with you just once, but I remember that weekend when I was on call with you, I learned so much about antipsychotics and SSRIs. It was like an explosion of learning, and I really appreciate you taking time to teach me that weekend. And I've heard a lot of great things about what a great teacher and clinician you are from other fellows. So congratulations. And Dr. Fowler, thank you so much for demonstrating to me what an awesome bedside manner you have. I have to say, I think watching you interact with patients and their families is you have one of the best styles, I think. So again, thank you so much for inspiring all of us.
Welcome back. And that was actually, I'm so glad those two won the Educator Award for Child Psychiatry. They did a great job this last year. The next is we have a combined program in both triple board, which Mio described, and also internal medicine psychiatry. And there's two graduates this year, and Dr. Brad McConville, who is the training director, will introduce them.
Thanks, Pat. So this July will mark 10 years since I've been faculty member at Tulane. This is a fantastic department full of fantastic, outstanding clinical faculty, researchers, teaching faculty, friends and colleagues, and I value all of you. Additionally, this is a great training program, and I love the opportunity to work with this great group of residents. Congrats to all of you. Our MedPsych team keeps growing. 2 years ago, Dr. Seabrack started not just one, but two MedPsych clinics, one at Daughters of Charity, the other at the VA. Last year, Rachel Hammer joined our faculty, and she staffs the VA MedPsych clinic. So in addition to both of those outpatient MedPsych providers, Dr. Militello and I have been staffing the consult service and also the inpatient MedPsych unit at St. Charles. And Ben Bailey has continued the work with the residents, including in the outpatient clinics, on the correctional services, and on the internal medicine wards. But I'm particularly indebted to Dr. Hammer, who's been serving as our associate program director for the last year. She's been really instrumental to the growth of our program. We're very, very fortunate to have her. She's unavailable to introduce either graduate because she is right now at an undisclosed location, kicking off our annual retreat with Kurt and Chelsea. So she'll be able to present the chief certificates as well as gifts from our department and faculty to our grads today. So now on to our graduates. In 2016, Dr. Kurt Wall and Dr. Chelsea Tuvino joined our team, and they've been instrumental to our program from day one. So starting with Chelsea Tuvino, she came to us from St. Louis University. She had the same mentor actually in medical school as I had. When she arrived, I introduced her to a patient as Dr. Thubanot, I believe, but she forgave me right away. And of course, we learned a lot about her, in particular, her dedication to the whole patient, both in internal medicine and psychiatry. Chelsea's drawn to both inpatient and outpatient work. She's been really instrumental to our recruiting progress throughout the years. And then for the last 2 years, she served as our residence coordinator for Weekend Moonlighters at St. Charles. So she's our liaison between the psychiatry and the medicine service. There's really no one better for the job, and she was perfect. So I'm so happy that she's able to do this for us. Chelsea's a wonderful resident physician. She's been a wonderful chief resident. She's committed, conscientious. She's tireless and compassionate. Chelsea has taught me that a little bit of OCD is actually a wonderful quality. Chelsea's taking a job in San Diego, sadly leaving us. Well, she'll be joining a large community mental health clinic. We'll be their only med psych faculty. We'll be doing both internal medicine and psychiatry. We'll be taking a course with her son and Atticus and her partner Jean-Pierre. She'll also be working with transgender patients involved in medical transition. So Chelsea, congratulations on your graduation. Let's see your video.
Hello everyone. First I want to say thank you to my Tulane MedPsych family, including those who have graduated before me, my supervisors and mentors, and LaTanya. I want to thank my entire family, including my mom, my grandma, my sisters, my dad and Pam, and my grandpa. I want to say a special thanks to my partner Jean-Pierre for literally sustaining me through residency with his delicious cooking and for being my rock. And last but not least, I want to say thank you to Atticus, my 6-year-old son, who has spent 5 out of his 6 years of life learning how to cope with having a mom in residency and her ridiculous work schedule. Right?
Right.
All right, now tell them where we're moving to.
San Diego, yay!
San Diego! I've accepted a job at Family Health Centers in San Diego, where I'll be doing outpatient primary care and psychiatry. Definitely gonna miss it here in New Orleans, but we're grateful to have spent the last 5 years here. Thank you!
Thank you, bye! Thank you for watching!
Next graduate is Kurt Wall. Dr. Wall came from, actually was born in New Orleans while his parents were in residency at Tulane. They then took faculty positions at the University of Iowa, where Kurt attended medical school. Kurt came to us with a ton of accolades. He's brought exceptional work throughout his residency. He's been repeatedly cited for great clinical work, great teaching, leadership, and mentorship. He's been an exceptional chief resident. He's headed up a number of projects, more than I'm even aware of, I'm sure, including a universal detoxification program at Tulane Medical Center. Kurt has taught me a lot about the value of calm in a storm. Kurt is level-headed in any situation. This includes a tense family meeting, a code blue, a code green, or even when Penn State beats the Hawkeyes on a last-minute field goal. Kurt plans to join our faculty upon graduation. He is getting married, as you all know, to Dr. Hemmett, one of our categorical faculty. Kurt will do, at least the current plan is Kurt's going to be joining our faculty and doing some CL psychiatry. He's going to be staffing the med psych unit at St. Charles, and he's going to be doing some hospital medicine work with Ochsner through a Tulane contract. You made it, Kurt. Congrats. Let's see your video.
Hey everyone. I would like to thank my family for always being very supportive. I would like to thank Yazi for being a wonderful partner. I would like to thank my med psych family and everyone in the psych department for being not only great coworkers, but great friends as well. And most of all, I'd like to thank my cat Lua for being a pretty good cat.
Yeah, actually, I found out from Kurt, his dad was actually a faculty member at Tulane in the Department of Neurology when he was born. And I think he was 6 months old, and I knew his dad. And he was 6 months old, I think, when they moved to Iowa City. So he's changed a bit since then. I have the pleasure of introducing the adult psychiatry group. Gail Plesh is the training director and is one of the few good things I did when I was interim chair back some years ago. I'll take credit for that for the rest of my life. Anyway, going to you, Gail.
It's my pleasure tonight to present our graduates in adult psychiatry. Our first graduate is Dr. Jessa Durania. Jessa completed medical school at Pacific Northwest University of Health Sciences. She was the recipient of the Training Residence in Psychiatry Scholarship Award and was the team leader for the VA Benzodiazepine Empowerment Quality Improvement Project. Along with Dr. Amanda Rains, she published a paper in the Journal of Addictive Behavior entitled Correlates of Death Among COVID-Positive Veterans, the Contribution of Lifetime Tobacco Use. Jessa created a didactic curriculum for the Tulane medical students for their forensic psychiatry elective this year. She is known for asking pertinent questions and for having fostered over 35 dogs and 1 pig while in residency. She thanks her supervisors, Dr. DeTrenis and Dr. Lowenberg. After graduation, she would join an inpatient adult psychiatry practice at Maine General Medical Center in Augusta, Maine. Dr. Durania, congratulations.
I'd like to thank Dr. Lowenberg for his pragmatism, Dr. Pletch for her commitment to both residents and patients, Dr. McConville for his example of compassion, Dr. Rains for her commitment to excellence, Dr. DeTrenis for encouraging meaning, LaTanya for reparenting me, Matt Sledge for being my perennial party date, Misty Brook for being my life mate, and David and Nathan for growing up with me, my friends for being my family, and my sister, brother-in-law, and mother for their unwavering support. I was incredibly lucky for my co-residents' brilliance. I couldn't have made this journey without my late hound dog, Meriwether Lewis, and I'd like to dedicate the journey to my late grandfather, W.P. Allen. For my next step, I have taken an inpatient job at Maine General Medical Center in Augusta, Maine, doing inpatient with 1 day a week of CL. I'm excited for the adventure. Thank you to my Tulane family for giving me a world-class education, and to my patients who expand my understanding of the human experience daily.
Our next graduate is Dr. Richard Hafner. Rick graduated from the Lincoln Memorial University DeBusk College of Osteopathic Medicine. Rick served as one of our 2 pandemic chief residents this year and as junior chief the year prior. He worked with Dr. Lowenberg on the Grand Rounds curriculum this year, in which 25% centered on EDI topics. He converted Grand Rounds to a virtual platform that has been a great success, enabling access to all faculty and alumni, regardless of their training site, and developed an online CME tracking. He is known for his empathy, his rapport with veterans, and his excellent approaches to prescribing psychotropics. Throughout his training, he has been the first to step in to offer to help his fellow residents. Rick wishes to thank his supervisors, Dr. DeTrenis, McCormick, Lowenberg, Kerwin, and Pletch. He says he is grateful for the opportunity to have been a resident at Tulane and for the time and effort for everyone who contributed to his education. He reports, I won the lottery when I matched at Tulane. And Rick, the sentiment is definitely mutual. We are grateful that he will be contributing to other residents' education when he starts full-time at the New Orleans VA, splitting his time between the ambulatory mental health clinic and the pain evaluation program this July. Congratulations, Dr. Hafner.
I'd like to thank my family, especially my parents. I'd also like to thank Michelle, my co-residents, especially my co-chief dean, aka Commander Doom, Dr. Plesh for her leadership. Special thank you to Dr. DeTrenis for his supervision, his guidance, and his counsel over the past 4 years. Thank you to Dr. Lowenberg Dr. Kerwin, Dr. Genesio, and Dr. McCormick for all of their guidance as well. And a special thank you to LaTanya for all the work that she's done on my behalf and on everyone's behalf.
Rick, where are you going?
I am not going anywhere. I'm staying right here at the New Orleans VA.
Dr. Cassandra Lentz is our next graduate. Cassie is a graduate of Tulane Medical School who chose to remain at Tulane for residency. Throughout residency, she has had multiple leadership roles, including class representative, resident retreat coordinator, and recruitment coordinator. She led the recruitment team this year in transitioning the program from in-person recruitment to Zoom recruitment, which culminated in an outstanding intern class for this July. Cassie was awarded the Psychiatry Intern of the Year Award and was nominee for the UMC Overall Intern of the Year Award and the OWL Club Psychiatry Resident of the Year Award. Cassie provides a high level of psychiatric care. She is a diligent listener and is perceptive in dealing with the many issues that arise while working with the patient. She wishes to thank Drs. Hallinan, DeTrenis, and Kerwin for their supervision. We are thrilled that she plans to remain at Tulane to complete her forensics fellowship next year. Congratulations, Dr. Lentz.
I can't believe residency's almost over, but Tulane, you won't be getting rid of me yet, since I'll be staying here for forensics fellowship. I want to thank all of the attendings that have taught us through the years, Dr. D for putting up with me for 5 years and helping me find and develop my own personal style, Dr. Pletch for being such a huge advocate, especially during the pandemic, LaTanya for everything. She probably regrets ever giving me her cell phone number. My parents and family for being so supportive and taking me on all the trips that allowed me to escape residency. And of course, Buddy for being there by my side through it all. Thank you.
Next, we have Dr. Ahmed Siddiqui. Ahmed completed an undergraduate degree at Tulane University and his medical school degree at LSU New Orleans before returning to Tulane for his residency. During residency, he served as a recruitment coordinator in his PGY 3 year and has been involved in medical student orientation throughout his training. He has taken great initiative this year in his role as the TUBC Resident Medical Director, streamlining the referral and assignment process, creating unique intake slots, and educating others on how to place referrals to the clinic. Ahmed is a gifted therapist. He is reflective and able to confront his patients in a soft, effective manner when clinically indicated. He is knowledgeable on the intricacies with prescribing psychotropics. He wishes to acknowledge his supervisors, Dr. Pletch, Dr. DeTrenis, and Dr. Hallinan. He will be taking a position with the Southeast Louisiana VA Community Outpatient Clinic in Reserve, Louisiana, where we hope to have him supervise residents in the future. Dr. Siddiqui, congratulations.
Hey everyone, I can't believe it's already time to graduate. These 4 wonderful years have gone by so quickly. I have so many people to thank. I definitely could not have done it without the love and support of basically everybody at Tulane. I know I'm mistakenly going to leave somebody off, and if I do, I apologize for that. I want to thank LaTanya, Dr. Pletch, Dr. DeTrenis, Dr. O'Neill, Dr. Weiss, Dr. McConville, Dr. Melitello, Dr. Kerwin, Dr. Hallinan, Drew Jenkins over at TUBC. I want to thank all of my co-residents, Hayes, Dean, Rick, Holleran, Jessa, Cassie, Jawad, Carla, all of the PGY3s, Chelsea, Melina, and so many other people that have helped make me become the best psychiatrist up until this point that I can become. And next year, I will be staying local, staying in the area, and working for the local VA. Very, very excited about that and looking forward to the next chapter in my life.
Our final graduate is Dr. Dean Sirtis. Dean graduated from St. George's University of London Medical School. He served as chief resident for the 2020 through 2021 academic year. He managed our didactic programming, which can be quite complex, and has gracefully managed the myriad challenges unique to virtual training, including coordinating multiple simultaneous Zoom lectures. He also created a board review course series for graduating residents that was particularly well received. He authored a Capgras case report, which he will be submitting to the Journal of Nervous and Mental Disorders. Dean has a great therapeutic relationship with his patients and provides a very high level of care. He is empathetic and hardworking. He thanks his supervisors, Dr. Pletch, DeTrinis, Weiss, and Kerwin. Dean says, "I was planning on bolting from New Orleans as soon as I finished, but New Orleans won me over." Fortunately, he will remain involved with resident training in his position at the New Orleans VA Ambulatory Clinic in July. Congratulations, Dr. Sirtis.
Hello, didn't see you there. I suppose we're finally at the end of the beginning, the final graduation. Of course, I have a few people I'd like to thank for helping me along the way. First and foremost, my mother and father for giving me the encouragement and support to pursue medicine. My little sister for fostering a healthy and incredibly deeply motivating sibling rivalry. Of course, my wife, Julia, for being my light in the darkness and for, quite frankly, keeping me alive on a daily basis. Dr. DeTrinis for teaching me the delicate nuance of psychopharmacology, to trust my instincts in psychotherapy, and so much, much more. Dr. Weiss for changing my whole perspective on the treatment of psychosis and showing me what I actually think I truly want to do for the rest of my life. Dr. Pletch, of course, for orchestrating the best training I could have possibly asked for. Dr. Kerwin for giving me a job. Seriously, thank you so much. LaTanya, of course, for keeping the whole damn ship afloat. I gotta thank Rick Hefner, my co-chief, Chief Gloom. I don't think I could have done this year without you. Thank you so much, buddy. And then finally, to the rest of my esteemed colleagues, it's been an excellent 4 perilous years, diving into the recesses and the darkest parts of the human mind. It's truly been fantastic. So looking forward to seeing you all on the other side.
In addition to our graduates, tonight we say a farewell to one of our associate training directors, Dr. Kim Genesio. It has been my great honor to work with you. I'm grateful for your wisdom, insight, and support during the past five years. The residents and I will miss you desperately. And now I would like to present the video for the Educator of the Year in Adult Psychiatry.
Thank you, Dr. D, for giving us what is a very large portion of your time. We appreciate it, and it doesn't go unnoticed. And thank you for sharing all of your knowledge with us. It will certainly make us better psychiatrists. And for Dr. Melitello, I haven't worked with her much, but she always took the time to teach us and never felt rushed. when she was teaching us. So thank you to both Dr. D and Dr. Melatello.
When I'm on service with you, I'm going places I've never been before. It's like the labyrinth of wisdom. Thanks for always keeping it real and showing me how to keep it real. It's a total game changer.
Hi, Dr. Militello.
Hello.
I just wanted to say thank you so much for being such a great teacher. I felt so lucky working with you at St. Charles, and you just made like everything a learning opportunity, and we just had really good patient discussions. So it was just great. Thank you.
Thank you for always taking the time to teach us and for modeling such amazing bedside manner, showing such compassion for patients, and demonstrating such a professional way of dealing with even very difficult situations. And just thank you for always having this amazing attitude that you bring to the service every day.
All right, thanks.
Congratulations, both Drs. DeTrenis and Militello for being Educators of the Year this year. It was a tie. Dr. Militello, I always appreciated your insight rotating at St. Charles while moonlighting, tips and tricks for treating TBI. And Dr. D, of course, thank you so much for, at this point, years of guidance in so many different domains. I think the knowledge both of you have given me is going to be indispensable. So thank you both.
Dr. DeTrenis, thank you so much for your generosity of time and spirit. You invested in every resident graduating today, and we feel your investment. Some of us even drank the Kool-Aid. Thank you.
That was a great one. And actually, I strongly approve of your choices. We're almost done. This is the last lap. I have a couple awards to present, and then hopefully we can toast together the graduates of the Department of Psychiatry and Behavioral Sciences of 2021, the year of COVID. We won't. You guys won't always be known for that, but you'll never forget it. You'll never forget it. The first award is actually an award that's been around since a patient gave money to the department to name an award for the most caring resident. And this is the Lancaster Award. Bob Lancaster was a psychiatrist in New Orleans since the 1950s, and he died this year of COVID. He was one of the first people in New Orleans who died of COVID, and he was the first psychiatrist in the United States who died from COVID. I've worked with Bob for years. Bob was actually a faculty member back in the 1950s and one of the analytic faculty, and had the great privilege of doing analysis with Don Gallant back when Don was a resident. That's a whole nother story I'll tell you if you ask me someday. Anyway, the Robert Columbus Lancaster Prize in Psychiatry is awarded to Constantino Sturgis, Dean Sturgis, MD, as the most caring psychiatrist among graduating residents, Tulane University School of Medicine 2021. Congratulations, Dean. And I'll bring you this, and I think I got a check for you too. The next award is called the Gonzalez Award. And Remy Gonzalez was very important for the department when it came to the recovery after Katrina. He was the chairman, he was the president of the Heath Society, which is the alumni society for the department. And during his tenure, he generated huge interest and financial support from the alumni from all over the country that really kind of helped the department pay for some things that the dean's office wouldn't let us do, and the president of the university wouldn't have let us do. So that was Remy, and Remy was a child analyst actually who worked uptown in New Orleans. Me and one of his sons actually graduated from residency program the same year. And it is given to the resident who produces the best paper every year, and actually we have a second award and also a second place. But all the submissions this year were excellent. They all should be published. And if you guys are at all ambivalent about publishing, please talk to your co-writers or to me, and we can suggest journals and such. So the runner-up is an article whose title is number one. The second place article is an article whose title is Risk Factors for Delirium Among SARS-CoV-2 Positive Veterans by Charlie Santos. Congratulations, Charlie. I think you've won this award or come in second once since you started the residency program. So congratulations. And these awards also come with a financial incentive. And we'll get those checks to you next week, if you believe that. And secondly, the grand prize winner is an article by the title Capgras Syndrome in the Unconscious and the Conscious, a case report by Dean Sturgis and et al. And it's actually very well written. And I'm going to make sure that gets printed in the newsletter this year of the Heath Society that will get to all the people who want it. So at this point, I have my Green Wave cup, and I hope everybody watching this has something that they can imbibe in. I won't tell you what's in here since I'm driving, but nothing illegal. Congratulations to all the graduates of the Department of Psychiatry and Behavioral Sciences at Tulane in 2021. I know Dr. Thompson is here in his thoughts and wishes he could have done this himself. I'm very pleased I was allowed to do this. So congratulations to all the graduates, to the families, to the mentors, to the friends, and anybody else is watching this. I think we had over 150 people sign up for this, so we have a pretty large crowd. To you. We're done. Roll credits.